Forum Council members for their great work. So the business meeting's closed, and I want to move on to what is actually the more exciting part of this morning, so please listen up. This is the time that we're presenting the Peter Wollitzer Advocacy Award. This award is given to honor a forum member who has been remarkably effective in influencing institutions of higher learning to understand and support education abroad through the dissemination of the forum's goals, the 5 that we've already mentioned: standards of good practice, data collection and research, advocacy, curricular development, and academic design and assessment. I want to thank, the forum thanks the Wollitzer Award Selection Committee for its work. These members are Robin Craggs, Martha Johnson, Michael Monahan, Jen Sido, and Ray Vernon. And here to present the award is Enda Carroll, Regional Manager for North America and Manager of the Center for Study Abroad at University College Dublin. Enda?
Thank you, Barbara. Colleagues, it is a true privilege to stand before you this morning to honor this year's recipient of the Peter Wollitzer Advocacy Award. As many forum members and regular conference delegates are aware, sorry, I'm a bit tall. As many forum members and regular conference delegates are aware, and as Barbara's reminded us, this important award has been presented on an annual basis since 2007 to forum members who have been remarkably effective in influencing educational institutions to better understand and support education abroad through a wide variety of actions and initiatives. This year's recipient has been an outstanding and tireless advocate for study abroad and the forum's message in his native country and beyond, while somehow finding the time to engage in many other scholarly pursuits. Let me tell you a little bit about his remarkable career and contribution to our field. He initially graduated from University College Galway, majoring in the area of Celtic Studies. Subsequently, he taught the Irish language, literature, and folklore in the University of Ulster, Thomond College of Education, and also in the University of Limerick. His research interests are in the areas of Irish literature, folklore, Irish language in education, and throughout the years he has published many articles in learned journals in Ireland and internationally in these fields. He is a native speaker of the Irish language and has strong associations with a very special piece of heaven, the beautiful Aran Islands off the coast of Galway. However, it was in the area of international education where he has provided a profound inspiration to myself and to many others working in higher education in Ireland. And this is the reason we honor him today. Much of his substantive work took place while he was Director of International Education at the University of Limerick for a decade beginning in the year 2001. Having previously worked with US students on the Limerick campus on a voluntary basis for at least 20 years. In 2002, he had the pioneering foresight to ensure that University of Limerick joined the newly founded Forum on Education Abroad. Needless to say, University of Limerick was the first Irish university to do so, and since then we have all followed suit and followed his example and joined the Forum, but it is this man alone who can be credited for being the first one to run with the ball. In 2006, he led University of Limerick's successful participation in the Forum on Education Abroad's pilot program to test standards of good practice in education abroad, and UL's submission in December 2007 under the Forum's QUIP initiative, on which a final positive determination was received from the Forum in May 2008. UL was the first non-US university to have undergone this quality assurance process in education abroad. He was subsequently honoured by being elected to serve a term as a member of the Forum Council, His contribution was further recognised when the Forum invited him to be conference chair for the first European conference in Dublin last December. He has been the strongest voice in Ireland to promote the virtues of the Forum and its mission, especially with regard to expanding the Forum's reach in Ireland and more broadly across Europe. He sponsored a Forum workshop on the standards of good practice several years ago in the University of Limerick for all the Irish universities to become trained in the standards. He has also given important presentations at NAFSA and Forum conferences on the way in which QUIP can be integrated with and applied to other cultural and educational contexts. His inherent gift of networking, or the modern tag of connector, is just one of his many qualities. His former colleague at University of Limerick, Ellie McHugh, shared some memories of him with me. She said he possessed a unique quality to interrogate visiting students, faculty, and parents as to their lineage, and had an incredible aptitude and need to share with them their associated roots and homesteads with pinpoint accuracy. His grillings were territorially borderless at all times, a born acceptor of all peoples. Whether you were from Mayo, Moscow, Manila, or Mississippi, he foraged the recesses of his brain to join people's ancestral dots, bestowing a crash course in genealogical tracing, medieval history, folklore, and traditions to boot. The eternal humanitarian and learned scholar was never stumped and would turn the tables to ensure that he too learned from every encounter, whether chance or otherwise. He had an insatiable craving to make that connection and would continue his cross-examination until such time as he found some common ground, which, incidentally, he seemingly never failed to do. If you were fortunate enough to be visiting with him, in no time at all he would reduce the 6 degrees of separation to about 1.5. This man is the consummate innate cultural ambassador, with over 20 years dedicated to the field of international education and study abroad. He is personally responsible for the significant vision and development of international education in Ireland, and he has touched the lives of thousands. He can also be relied upon to share an Irish ballad at the most opportune moments, or even a dance or two if you stay late enough at the Meet the Irish reception. Forum delegates, there is only one man in the world I could be speaking about this morning. Please join me in inviting my friend and esteemed colleague, Dr. Liam O'Doherty, to accept this award with our heartfelt appreciation for his work and contribution to our field. Liam, Gareth Mila Margat.
I'm kind of stunned, I'm afraid. I'm taken aback by this, and I'm thrilled, of course, but I really am. I'm stuck for words, which, well, I'm not very good in the morning anyway. I'm not really. It takes me a while to warm up, and I hated giving 9 o'clock lectures. I really did. But I have. I don't obviously have anything prepared. But I want to go back to, I suppose, what was it Mary Dwyer last year who said that the argument for engagement with the Forum was compelling. And it has become compelling in a number of ways. And when I was in that room, there was a Saturday afternoon, I think, it was in Portland, Oregon. I forget what year, was it 2001? One of those years at the tail end of a CIEE conference. And instead of going on the tour that I had paid for, I decided to eavesdrop on the meeting that was taking place of, was it the 20 upstanding professional citizens, the leaders in the area of education abroad in America. And it says, whatever they're at, and whatever they're going to do, I think I should follow them. And this is really what happened. And I think later, in one of the following subsequent years in Santa Fe, which almost killed me because I had my asthma or something kicked in and then that beer was too strong. It was something, a combination of things happened to me in Santa Fe. But after a session, I went to Jeff Bannister and said, if you're developing standards of some sort and you need a foreign institution to test them, well, sure, we'll do it. So we got engaged, but we learned more from the forum. The forum has given us more than we've ever given the forum. And I'm here, and not only what I was saying to people yesterday as I went around, that I have more friends here than I have at home. And I like you more than I like the people at home. Well, some of them anyway. This doesn't go home. And there are some people I have a few scores to settle with. I have to settle a score with Lorna Stern, for certain, who brought me to breakfast under false pretenses. And I certainly have to settle a score with Enda Carrol, whom I tried to discourage from certain activities she was proposing So I'll get you yet. I don't know how, but there'll be some way I'll get you yet. When talking about the standards, I talked about cracking the whip. And cracking the whip, you could read it in two ways. One was that you just had to, I hate the word, deconstruct the bloody thing. And you had to break it down into manageable bits and tackle it. But then there's the other thing is that the standards are cracking a kind of whip. They are making us all wake up. They are making us all be aware and try to do the best we can. Oh, we have an Irish proverb, do the work and don't mind what your best. Den an oberug's na bakla the yihil. Do the work and don't mind your best. So doing the work, but doing the work and doing what's needed to be done to ensure that our students have a beneficial experience. I'm thinking just now, reminded of, was it the first Clinton campaign where they had the tagline, "It's the economy, stupid." Well, in our case, we should never forget, it's the students. It's all about the students. It's not about us. It is the students, not to be happy necessarily, but to be contented and to get a beneficial experience and to do that as well as we can, collegially. What I really love about the forum is the collegiality of the forum and all the good friends, but the hard work. Merciful God, they're like, maybe the train left the station but was only an engine. But by now, the forum train has become one of these big trains. You're in a hotel somewhere in America, and the next thing there's a goods train goes by, and there's about 100 carriages on it, 100 whatever you call them, and the beautiful, it's not a horn you call it. What do you call it on a train? The beautiful, beautiful sounds of American trains. But the forum has become a bit like that. That train is a very big train, and it's very influential, and you can't afford not to be on it and not to be with it. But it's going to be great fun, and I have to thank everybody for all the years of pleasure that I've had in education abroad. I hope this isn't a career-ending injury, but I hope to that is not the final chapter, but it's certainly the highlight. So thank you all very much, and thank you to the forum, thank you to the nominators, and thank you all colleagues and friends. Thank you very much. I'll treasure this.